Good morning, students. Today we would like to discuss another important life process, transport system in animals. All living organisms like plants and animals need food, oxygen and water so that they can survive. It means for the survival of organism, they need food, they need oxygen, they need water. So that's why they need a special system to transport all these basic needs. So our organisms, we are dividing broadly into two categories. One is unicellular, another one is multicellular. In unicellular organisms, the substances, they pass from inside to outside and outside to inside by a simple process known as diffusion. That exchanges takes place. So that's why there is no special system or there is no special kind of transport system is not needed for unicellular organisms. Whereas compare with multicellular organisms like human beings, plants and etc. All the cells are not exposed to outside the environment, and that simple diffusion mechanism is not sufficient to get all the food, oxygen, water, etc. So that's why in this case every cell, they need some food, they need oxygen, they need water. So that's why a special system is needed. There is a internal transport system is needed in the case of multicellular organisms. Why? Because in multicellular organisms, the food is taken at one part. For example, in human beings, mouth is the site for intake of the food material. But in human beings, there are different organs are there. They also need the food material. To transfer this food into those parts, they need some internal transport system. So like that, to transfer the substances from one cell to another cell or from one organ to another organ, in multicellular organisms, they need internal transport system. They need internal transport system. Okay, so today we are also discussing that internal transport system and the transport system in the case of animals. Okay, and you can see in the humans, this transport system occurs via circulatory system. Sir, what is the meaning of the circulatory system, sir? It is a network of consisting of blood vessels and the heart. So that means the circulatory system, it consists of a different another organ as well as the tissues as well as some tubes, vessels, everything. So this network is an important for the supply of oxygen, nutrients, hormones and waste products from one side to another side, one organ to another organ. So that's why this network of system is needed. Apart from this circulatory, here, along with this circulatory system, there are so many other systems are also there. That is excretory system, nervous system, and so many other systems are there. But this circulatory system is very, very important to transfer food, nutrients, etc. Now come to the circulatory system in the human beings. They are divided into again two separate systems. The first system is cardiovascular system. So above we discussed, we told about circulatory system is network. Either will be blood vessel, heart, or it may be in a lymph vessels, etc. So that is another system is in a lymphatic system. So that's why the circulatory system in human beings is divided into two types. One is called as what we call cardiovascular system, and the second one is called lymphatic system. Now, so to understand the cardiovascular system in detail, first of all we must know about what is circulatory system network. The circulatory system or cardiovascular system network consists of blood vessels, heart. So that's why a part wise we have to discuss it and we have to understand it, what is the structure of that parts and what is the functions of that parts. So in that, the first one we have to know about it, that is what is blood, what is the composition of the blood, what are the functions of the blood. You know, in 9th class you studied various types of tissues. In that, blood also you studied. So blood is in a fluid tissue of the body. A blood is also in a fluid tissue of the body, and it is also connective. It is one of the type of connective tissue. In that connective tissue, it is in a fluid tissue. Okay, so this blood, nearly adults contains 5 to 6 liters. The adults contains 5 to 6 liters in their body, and the blood is mainly composed of 3 parts. The one is plasma, here the diagram shown, and another one is blood cells. Another one is blood cells. Okay, so 3 parts means the another part, third one is also placed under the blood cells. So that mainly you can see. So this blood contains nearly 55% in that composition. The 55% is in a plasma, that is the yellowish fluid, like see here, yellowish fluid. That means how, sir, we can observe it, this one. So you can take one tissue and you are observing when you are going to blood test. In that time they are taking the blood from our syringe and they are inserting into the tissue. So after the few minutes you can observe it, some amount of the blood is clotted, and above the clotting of the blood you will find out some hyaline yellowish color fluid, that is nothing but plasma. So the blood in their composition, 55% is nothing but plasma. So the remaining 45% is blood cells. In that, the 45% in 45% again mostly they contains red blood cells. Okay, now what is plasma? It is a fluid part of the blood. It is a fluid part of the blood. This fluid part of the plasma contains water. Along with that, they also contains important nutrients like amino acids, proteins, nitrogenous waste, electrolytes, gases, albumins, fibrinogens, globulins. So these are the different kinds of nutrients which are present in the plasma. Okay, so the plasma is the fluid part, yellow in color, iron in color, and it is 55% in the blood composition, and it contains different kinds of other nutrients itself. Now we are going to the next part of the blood. So that is blood cells. That is about blood cells itself. Okay, so the blood cells, they contains how much? 45%. The blood cells, they contains 45%. Okay, now the blood cells are again divided into three types. One is leukocytes, another one is erythrocytes. See, these are leukocytes, another one is erythrocytes, and platelets. So the blood cells are blood elements. They are broadly divided into three types. One is called leukocytes, second one is an erythrocytes, and along with that blood platelets. Leukocytes are also called as white blood cells. Erythrocytes are also known as red blood cells. They are also known as red blood cells. Now you can see this picture, then you will understand. Now just we are taken a drop of blood and we can observe under the microscope. In that microscope we are finding, see, different types of the cells. You can observe it almost a sickle shaped and normal small size cells. These are called blood platelets. Along with that blood platelets, you can see these are the red color. These are called RBC, red blood cells. And all the blue color, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are the different types of the cells are there. These all are WBC. That means leukocytes or white blood cells. Come to the first one, red blood cells. Okay, red blood cells are also known as erythrocytes. Red blood cells are also known as erythrocytes. They does not contains any nucleus. See, you can think this is the nucleus. No, it's not. Okay, and the red blood cells, why they are red in color? Because the presence of hemoglobin pigment. Because the presence of hemoglobin pigment, they are red in color. Come to in snails and some other organisms, the blood is bluish in color. But in the human beings and the most of the organisms, blood is red in color because of the presence of hemoglobin pigment and iron element. Iron element. So red blood cells are also called erythrocytes. They are produced at bone marrow. Where they are produced? Bone marrow. The lifespan of red blood cells is equal to 120 days. So after that 120 days they can die. So the lifespan is 120 days. Okay. Now what is the main function of this blood cells? They carry nutrients. They carry nutrients. They carry oxygen. They also carry some waste products. That means the main function of the blood is the different transport and all. In that again the chief function can be performed by red blood cells only. Red blood cells only. Okay. Now I think you understand. What are red blood cells? Red blood cells are also known as erythrocytes. They are produced at bone marrow. And lifespan of the red blood cells 120 days. Okay, and the red blood cells not having any nucleus, and they are red in color due to the presence of hemoglobin pigment. Okay, now we are going to the second one, that is leukocytes. Leukocytes are also called as colorless cells or white blood cells. These are very important because these are responsible for the immune system. So we are getting some immunity, we are having immunity, it is depending upon the white blood cells. Okay, now in the previous picture you can observe it. See, these leukocytes are again divided into two categories. The one is granulocytes, another one is agranulocytes. Okay, now you can observe here this one neutrophils, this one eosinophils, this one basophils. Now you can observe it, how many here? Neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. These three cases, you can observe it, inside the cell they are having some dot like structures. They are called granules. They are called granules. Okay, so that's why these three types of the cells are belongs to granulocytes. And you can see these two, they are not having granule like structures. That's why monocytes and lymphocytes are subtypes of agranulocytes. Subtypes of agranulocytes. Okay, now in these eosinophils, basophils having two lobes of nucleus. This is the nucleus, and you can see this is the U-shaped type of the nucleus, eosinophils. And base neutrophils, they are having almost 1, 2, 3, 4, nearly 2 to 4 or 5 lobed nucleus. 2 to 4 or 5 lobed nucleus. Okay, in that these three types of the granulocytes, neutrophils are nearly 70%. The percentage of neutrophils in white blood cells are 70%. Okay, and these are called microscopic policemen of the body. Neutrophils are also known as microscopic policemen of the body because they are very important for our immune system. Okay, and come to the second type is called agranulocytes. In that agranulocytes, these two are monocytes and lymphocytes. They are also nucleated only. That means the basic difference is all white blood cells are nucleated cells. That means the cells are having nucleus. Red blood cells are contains without nucleus. Red blood cells are does not contain nucleus. So here lymphocytes and monocytes. So here the monocytes are very important because when any cells are dead or any debris means waste or anything which is released in the cell or any matter, blood, that will be cleaned up by monocytes. That is why monocytes are called as scavenger cells of the body. They are the scavenger cells of the body. Okay, so these are called scavenger cells. Okay, and lymphocytes and monocytes. So all these white blood cells, they can be produced in the lymph regions and lymph nodes regions. Okay, and along with these different types of the white blood cells, red blood cells, you are also finding some other type of the cells. They are called blood platelets. These are very, very important. Platelets are thrombocytes and fibrinogens. They contain thrombocyte subcells and fibrinogens. They are very, very important for clotting of the blood. For clotting of the blood itself. Now these are the functions of the blood. So what is the main functions of the blood means? They can transport oxygen from lungs to the body, and carbon dioxide from body to lungs. That means that exchange and gases transport, the transport system can be carried out by blood itself. And second thing is our food, digested food, that food contains all the nutrients. They can be transported to the various parts of the body by blood itself. And you know our body having different types of the glands. Our brain contains a master gland, pituitary gland. It secretes some hormone or some secretions. Those secretions are transported to the different parts again by blood. So the blood is the carrier of hormones, and blood is also transport the various types of waste produced by our body into the excretory organ called kidneys. So in that body there are different wastes are produced, they are transported to kidneys. So blood is also protect us from many diseases because blood contains WBC. It is the main for the immune system. It can protect our body from foreign organisms. And blood is also very important. In their composition, it contains the water, and it is useful to maintain our body temperature at minimum level, that is nearly 37 degrees. So that is why blood is having lot of importance. So these are the different functions of the blood. That means blood can perform different kinds of activities. Okay, so students, we discussed about what is the transport system, what is the composition of the blood, and what are the functions of the blood. So that's why you can I think you understand what is the composition and all these things. Everyone should read the blood and their composition and the functions. Okay, and write the notes, what are the functions of blood, and what is the composition of the blood, and what is transport system. If you are listening and reading and writing of this concept, then you will understand the next topic. Okay, all the best. Okay, bye.